Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm Shivani Sharma, and on India Today, I have with me a very esteemed guest. We have the former GOC Northern Command, Lieutenant General D.S. Hooda. But today, we are not talking to him about the army or the borders or the war. The unfortunate thing is that today's discussion is about a very horrific incident that has taken place in Odisha. The army officer traveling back home with his fiancée was assaulted and booked in fake charges by the police in Odisha. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so
I
much,
would
Shivani. Thank you.
I would like to begin by asking you how the army fraternity, a veteran like you, and the ladies within the army family are going through right now, how they are feeling about this unfortunate, horrific incident.
Shivani, you used the exact word which I would also use to describe it. It's a completely horrific incident. Here you have, an officer and his fiancée going to the police station to lodge an FIR against what they considered was a criminal act that had occurred. And instead of, being sympathetic towards that, and instead of doing their duty, and these people were brutally assaulted in the police station. The FIR was not lodged. It was delayed. And what I want to say, Shivani, I'm sure there is a pattern to this behavior by the police persons. It couldn't be the first time. They would have behaved like this in the past, have gotten away with it, and therefore they felt that they could do this with, some level of impunity.
Right. So, for the benefit of our viewers, I would like to revisit the timeline with your permission, sir. This was the incident that happened in Bhubaneswar in the intervening night of 14th and 15th of September when the army officer, a young major, and her fiance, his fiance, they were going back home around midnight and they were chased by goons. Their car was chased by goons and they visited the nearest police station. They called for help, but to their surprise, the police, instead of helping them, lodged an FIR against them. Not only this, they were sexually, physically beaten. They were assaulted, put behind the bars. The lady had an ordeal and she was booked with her injuries. And after High Court's order, she has been released yesterday, but she still remains in the hospital. She's traumatized to the extent that it will take a long time for her to recover from this incident, not only physically, but mentally too. And this has also shaken the complete nation, the army family. So, what do you think went wrong? These, the army officer who was there on leave, he was with the family, he was with the fiance. He has belief in the system, he has belief in the legal system, and he went there to the police for help. But in response, what he has got, was this being expected from these policemen?
Absolutely not, Shivani. As I said, we expect the police to uphold law and order. We expect them, and there are judicial rulings that FIRs must be filed. But here they have behaved in a completely opposite manner. I mean, I
Right.
just shudder to think, what the young lady would have gone through. And from the accounts that we have, I mean, she's been dragged by her hair, she's been choked, she's been sexually assaulted, clothes have been removed. I mean, really, this is utter absolute lawlessness on like how the police has behaved, and we are quite shaken up. You know, the military serving community, the veteran community has sort of come behind the officer, which is why this case has, sort of come into the limelight. I mean, just think about poor people. Would they even go to the police knowing that this is the kind of behavior that they will be subjected to, or they will just suffer their sort of indignity in silence? So I think there is a larger issue of how the police must behave in this case.
Right. And in this particular case, we've come to know that only after the intervention of the army, the case was taken up with the Odisha government, and only then some action was seen. Please tell us about army's move in this particular case, sir.
So from what I know, the sub area commander who's there, Brigadier Anand, has been very proactive in taking action. There are absolute, rules and regulations which say that if an army officer is to be put into judicial custody, the army authorities must be informed, and you can't just illegally detain somebody like this. But because the army was very proactive, they acted quickly, the officer was released. But I'm surprised, even after the officer was released, the police insisted on keeping this lady in custody. I mean, what is her crime? I mean, you've gone to file an FIR, and instead of taking action on that, uh, you first put her in custody and then refuse to release her till the bail is ordered by the judge. So I'm shocked at the behavior of the police.
And one more very important thing which we must mention to our viewers, that this lady is not only an army officer's fiance, but a daughter of a retired brigadier of the Indian Army. So the whole family is serving the nation, and this is the kind of behavior that the police is subjecting them to. So what do you expect? Because after the intervention of the army, the case has now been handed over to CID. But is that enough? The FIR has also been lodged against these policemen who were earlier transferred, then suspended. But do you think this kind of action is enough, or something very serious should be done with these policemen?
Look, Shivani, this matter needs to be treated with utmost seriousness, and I believe the police should take action. I know I was seeing some data on custodial deaths, and they said in about 9,000 cases, only about 20 policemen have been sort of actioned against, less than 0.5%. So I just hope it doesn't go that way. But there is, Shivani, the larger issue of the police community, and I don't want to say everybody is bad, but I
Right.
think how they behave. There has been a lot of talk about police reform, training, education, uh, behavior should improve. I think those are the things that we need to seriously look at. There is depoliticization of the police forces. These are also some issues that we need to look at. As a veteran, yes, I do feel bad. Here people are serving the nation under the most difficult, challenging conditions, and the least that we can do is, give them some respect. And I can tell you, there is deep respect among civil society for the army also. But the police sort of, I don't know whether they think they are a law unto themselves, and just because they put on a uniform, they can just do anything that they want. So I think some deep introspection is required.
And so, in this particular case, it's not only about a person who belongs to the army family, but for that matter, every citizen who is a law-abiding citizen of the nation, who believes in the police, who looks up to the police. But here, as we say in Hindi, that rakshak is getting bhakshak. So, how do we reinstate that belief in these after these incidents in the police? So, what do you feel as an army person, as an army veteran? How do the police or the system has failed to gain that respect and
Shivani, so it's
confidence?
not only me that I'm saying this. There are some very senior police veterans who themselves are saying that there is a requirement of deep reform within the police system. As I said, when you look at a policeman, you should feel that sense of security. That here is this policeman. If something happens to me, he is there to support me. He is there to protect me. That image, unfortunately, has taken a bit of beating, and that is something that I think the police leadership themselves need to look at and see how confidence of the common man is restored. As I said, this became a bit of a sort of a high-profile case because of the military officer was involved. I mean, what could be happening in the villages? What could be happening
Correct.
where people don't have this kind of support system to back them up? So I think this restoration of confidence in the police is something that's absolutely essential. And as I said, I'm not saying that. Very large number of police veterans themselves have talked about reform within the police system.